Good morning students, myself Ajit Pratap Singh. Today in this video I'll let you know about saprotrophs. Okay. Apart from this, I'll let you know about where does this saprotrophic nutrition take place, and I'll also tell you the process of symbiosis. Okay. Apart from this, I'll let you know about how the nutrients are replenished into the soil. And as we all know that we discussed about some other things in heterotrophic nutrition, like we discussed about what is heterotrophic nutrition and how does the heterotrophic nutrition take place in plants, and I also told you about the parasitic plants like Cuscuta and Mistletoe. Apart from this, I'll let you know about the insectivorous plants as well. So today we start from saprotrophs. Okay students, some non-green plants, they generally live on dead and decaying plants and animals, and they make their food from them only. Some examples of saprotrophs are mushrooms and other type of fungi and bacteria also. Okay, they secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter. This converts the solid matter into the liquid. From there on, they absorb the nutrients from this liquid. So this method of getting nutrients from dead and decaying matter in the form of a liquid is known as saprotrophic nutrition. So the method of getting nutrients from dead and decay materials or dead and decay matters in the form of liquid, this kind of nutrition is known as saprotrophic nutrition. Okay students, and fungi and bacteria, they generally use this method, and that's why they all are also known as saprotrophs or saprophytes. Okay, you can call them saprotrophs also and saprophytes also. Some spores of fungi are always floating around in the air, and they start germinating when they land on wet and warm things. Fungi grow on shoes, clothes, pickles and other articles in the warm and humid weather. Okay students, now the next slide. As you can see in this picture of activity 7, how the fungi grow on a bread, on a stale bread we can say. Okay, and these are seen, the fungi are seen in the form of spores, if you will see from the electronic microscope. Okay students, in another mode of nutrition, two different kind of organisms work together for their mutual benefit. For example, alga, which is an autotroph, and fungus, which is a saprophyte. Now the next slide. And both alga and fungi, they live together in lichen. The fungi supplies water and mineral to the cells of the algae, while the algae supplies food to the fungus. So both fungus and algae are benefiting each other, because as I told you, the fungus supplies water and minerals to the cells of the algae, whereas the algae supplies the food to the fungus. In this case, both are benefiting each other. So this mutually beneficial relationship is also known as symbiosis. Okay, students, when both are benefiting each other. As you can see in this diagram, the picture of lichen is given, and in this both alga and fungus benefit each other. Okay, in this, the last topic, I'll tell you about how the nutrients are mixed into the soil. As we all know that plants absorb nutrients from the soil with the help of their roots. Therefore, the amount of nutrients in the soil goes on decreasing. So, they decrease after some time. In a forest, these nutrients get naturally replaced by decaying of dead and decay plants and animals. So, in the forest, there is a benefit that these nutrients are available all the time because the plants, dead plants and animals are mixed into the soil at the regular basis. But apart from forest, it is not possible. That's why the nutrients are not available all the time into the normal soil. However, on a farm, as I told you, in a normal field, the nutrients has to be added into the soil in the form of manure or fertilizers. So that's why the farmers use manure and fertilizers into the soil in order to make the soil fertile for a longer period of time. Okay, students, because fertilizers and manure help the plants to grow better and they help in growth. These manures and fertilizers contain plant nutrients such as nitrogen and potassium and phosphorus. And as I told you, the farmer knows which nutrients are important for which crop, and accordingly they add into the crops and soil. Now the next slide. Most crops require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. After the crop is harvested, the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. You have already read in the bacteria Rhizobium that can fix atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form that the plants can absorb. Rhizobium cannot make it their own food. It therefore lives on the roots of the leguminous plants like gram, pea and moong, where it gets food and shelter. In turn, it provides them with nitrogen. It thus has a symbiotic relationship with leguminous plants that I just told you, the symbiosis process or symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi and lichen. We get most of the pulses from leguminous plants only. Okay, so that's it in this video. Have a great day.